Hello and welcome, one and all. We are back doing an audio commentary. I know you can hardly contain your excitement. I'm Nick, better known as Neptune, who is joining us for Resident Evil Afterlife. We have Stars TyranT.
Hi, I'm P.W.S Anderson, and you will be hard-pressed to find a bigger fan of Resident Evil than me.
We have Rombie.
Hello.
And we have George Trevor.
This evening, I will be mostly drinking alcohol.
So, yes, it's an audio commentary time. This is the fourth live-action movie from P.W.S Anderson, and we are very excited, aren't we, gentlemen?
Well,
Yeah.
I myself have never actually seen this movie beyond a few small clips on YouTube of mainly the key bits. So, I've seen the comical executioner sequence and Wesker fight and whatnot, but I actually don't know really anything else about the movie at all. So this is I'm a virgin for this
Me
movie.
too. I've not
And
seen
you,
it
George.
either. Yeah, I've not
Wow,
seen
this
it
is
either.
what a treat! What a treat! Now, I've not.
On top of it, this is one of my least favorite of these, and I'm not a big fan of most of them, so this is going to be entertaining.
I mean,
Nick, did you say you'd seen it?
I saw it at the cinema back in the day. I have not seen it since the cinema, but I can reveal, as we've shown on our Twitter page, I am watching this in 3D. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Does everyone remember this technology? Yep. I have my TV is still 3D compatible. It's one of the last 3D TV compatible TVs, and so I'm genuinely quite excited to rewatch a film in 3D because, be honest, you don't get to. I don't watch 3D.
This was
If
a monumental chapter of Paul Anderson's Resident Evil saga because obviously he returned to the director's chair for this one.
He did, and he did so using why a lot of 3D fans rate this film from a technical point of view is that it was created using James Cameron's fusion cameras that he used for Avatar. I cannot promise
Cameron system.
Yes, I cannot promise a film on the same quality as Avatar. But that's what we're going through. So I'm going to be experiencing it in 3D. So you may hear some funny noises.
And then quiet because Nick will be shocked as he sits there in his seat.
I just remember.
Unfortunately, I remember visually. I've seen this too. I remember visually, and this will be where it gets tested. I'll be interested to see what Nick says. I remember that there's a lot of like cool stuff in 3D, but also Anderson can't resist the idea of throwing stuff at the screen a lot still, in cliche 3D. So.
Yes, no, I was about to make that same point. So when 3D kind of really burst on the scene, like with obviously Avatar, that was done in a very subtle but quite immersive way. And then I think the next big 3D film after Avatar was either Clash of the Titans or Alice in Wonderland. Both were retroactively done in 3D and were atrocious. But this was one that was done, and I remember going to see this, and I recalled the, as you say, cliched 3D with lots of like the axes coming directly at you and all, and it wasn't quite as subtle as Avatar was, which really drew you in. I think Life of Pi was a bit similar as well. That was a good one, but this one, I'm excited about it.
It's gimmicky 3D. This is, isn't it? It's
gimmicky, yeah. That's it. That's
gimmicky,
the word I'm thinking of.
But is that?
But he still has shooting the whole thing in 3D, so everything's like the stuff that's subtle still works. But then, yeah, he can't resist throwing stuff at the screen or whatever.
So I'm quite excited from my point of view. I'll try and use my vocabulary well to just.
You're actually going to be decapitated by an executioner's axe.
It could be, yeah. It could be that.
Which you'll probably be praying for, sort of 2 minutes into this movie. Can we not watch Avatar instead?
No, it's all right.
I think Avatar doesn't Avatar respect the RE law a little bit more than this film.
Anyway. Just as a reminder, everyone who is perhaps joining us for the first time for an audio commentary, we are watching this on PAL Blu-rays. I say I am. Rob, you are. George, you're watching on
a newly discovered channel, yeah, Rakuten.
And Sean, you're watching it from.
I'm watching an NTSC version probably. I have no idea.
So we raised this point because, as you may know, that there is a slight difference in the kind of frame rate and speed of American versions and PAL versions. So if you are listening and following along with Afterlife in America, it may be slightly out compared to what
I generally think these days, now we've gotten kind of more to everyone's watching Blu-ray high def version, we may find that we probably don't get our sync, but if someone's got a older DVD version or
Yes.
something else, it may not be. But I'd say if you're watching a stream, it'll be the same version. George has got it in 4K too. It's worth noting, whereas all the rest of us are
Yes, George.
sub 4K.
You're in the best quality.
Yeah,
So
I'll try and throw up in the best quality as well.
So to join in, obviously load up your screen. And we are currently at the Screen Gems screen. It's all red. Well, it's black with the red Screen Gems logo. It's just faded in, and we can clearly see it. Imagine it, you're at the opticians, and it's just come into focus, and you can go, yes, I can read Screen Gems. So that's where we're currently at the moment. So we can all hit play in a second. Well, we'll do a count like we like to do, and then we can strap in and see what Paul Anderson has in store for us. So, without further ado,
hang on a second, then just one sec. There we go.
He's well prepared.
You're ready, Sean?
Yeah, let's go.
First of many.
I'm ready. I've got mine. I'm on the beers. Right. So, hold on. I'm on.
It's too early in the morning for beers here.
It's a bit of a.
I can't do beers at 7:30 in the morning.
PlayStation 4. It's X button, isn't it, to start? Yeah. Right. After pause. Right. So if everyone is ready, we will hit play after one. So 3, 2, 1, go.
So now I can see Davis Films and Impact.
Films.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're all hopefully reasonably in sync.
Yes.
Yep.
That was in 3D.
Ooh, the Earth 3D.
Thanks for that update, Nick.
Look, it's the instrument of all our
film.
pain. Stanton film, yeah. They will not release these rights, will they?
We will keep hold of
too much money for now until they don't. So Wide Shot of Tokyo.
As I said before we started, I thought this was Retribution, but
no, they have the callback to this in Retribution with the hub that is Tokyo.
So already there's a problem, though, isn't there? Isn't because at the end of Extinction.
Oh no! Well, no. This is actually. There's a reason for this, but okay. That does bring up a point which I was going to say, that Anderson and continuity between movies is very lacking. So the first two pretty much continuous because they literally have the end sequence from the first movie and the start of the second. But then from there on, there's kind of weird jumps between each one. So, how's the rain in 3D, Nick?
I've got her legs sticking out, and it's not too bad.
The people walking past.
Can you touch them, Nick?
No, it's this bit's subtle. So the rain's quite cool here as it's going down. That's quite cool.
Yeah.
Wentworth Miller.
Wentworth Miller, yes. Remember him, folks.
Hmm.
This is quite a cool opening in terms of.
It's like an advert for perfume.
Well, they did go down that path for kind of with the beauty products regenerate thing.
They did, yes.
There's obviously going to be a reason why.
Do you guys get the thematics with the umbrellas? Umbrellas?
No,
yes.
what's the connection? I haven't seen a traditional one yet, though. I'm sure it's coming.
I don't think there is.
Based on the video game Resident Evil and becoming looser, isn't it?
Very loosely based.
Mm. Although this is the first time in the series we've seen anything in Japan.
I think that was an intent.
Mm.
It is coming back to me because I have not watched this, as you said, since the movie came out. I'm pretty sure this is like how the outbreaks worldwide started.
The slow motion's so extreme, we've probably only had about 4 seconds of actual real time here.
Yeah.
It's probably very true.
So yeah, already the. Oh hello. Oh. Oh.
I was wondering if she was a zombie, but she clearly looked quite fine. So yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
So it's just a reminder that this is a zombie.
Yeah, just to remind you of that fact. Yeah, exactly.
Do we get
So there's
the?
little
Do we
lights
get the
going out.
flashback? Yeah. Do we get the flashback? Well, we
This
must have
is my name is Alice.
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
talking about?
Because the Extinction.
I love the way that P.W.S
And
Anderson's name is like falling into a zone of zombies.
oh, here's Alice.
Oh.
It's at this point I realised that I can't hear this movie. That's how engrossed I was in the visuals, and I can't put the sound on because then it's going to come through my microphone. So I'll have to be. I'll put on
Just
the
have it very
subtitle.
quietly. 4 years
Yeah.
later. Oh, okay. So it's a big 4 years.
Yeah, this is supposed to be the first. This is the Alice clones thing.
Oh, is this one?
Yeah, because we had the clones at the end of the third one.
Yes, you're right.
This is so Anderson stops being subtle and just goes, "I'm going for over the top," and I love the Matrix.
Snipers.
So Anderson decided that, because the game comes from Japan, let's just have Umbrella's remaining headquarter in Japan. That would make sense, even though it makes absolutely no sense. But that's all right.
Here you go, Rob. Look at that.
Look at that.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. This is when he loses his ability to do maps anymore. There's a whole undercity city.
Of course there is.
Because
Nest.
It's
Seamless, absolutely seamless.
So I think the question I had was, who's powering all this?
They have their own undercity city, so they have their own supply. Look at all, and you're feeding all these people, and
Yep. Water.
Yep. Water supplies. Yep, all this. I have bigger issues with that idea in the fifth one when they start to raise the idea that the whole reason behind this, the cause of this, was that Umbrella got greedy and tried to sell bioweapons to all its enemies. And I'm like, well, what were you expecting? Like, if you just sell bioweapons to everyone and everyone has bioweapons, you're just going to kill everyone. It's not particularly well planned. And then it's like, well, what was your end goal? Not have profits? You need people to be alive to be able to be profitable. It doesn't make any sense. It actually makes zero sense. When does any of these films make any sense?
Well, that's true.
It's giving me Death Star vibes.
This is our Wesker.
Yep.
Oh. I mean, already I would say the 3D is pretty impressive.
Having those like visual display screens.
Yeah.
He learned that lesson that a lot of glass and reflection and light, water, stuff that bounces light is very good in 3D, and that's.
Obviously, Wesker was recast, wasn't he, in this?
Yeah, who's this one? Was it?
This is Sean Roberts,
Sean
and it
Roberts.
was oh god, what's his name? Oh, someone O'Hara, Jason O'Mara, was it in Extinction? Hey, look, those doors could have come right out of Nest, actually.
Amazing, not an Umbrella logo on the door, to be honest. There's a space for it.
She's got katanas, really, you see, because she's in Japan. And shurikens.
Oh, here it comes in my
3D. Oh, 3D flying. And not just 3D, but slow motion 3D.
Oh, yeah.
And the leap through the air, and the impossible spinning on the spot.
Do you like the way no one pulled the trigger of any weapon up until that point?
Yeah, took them a long time to react. Yes, and then she just runs away from them. But that's all right. Don't you worry. She's not the only one.
I'm going all Matrix on it now. Look.
Oh, very mate.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is just the beginning.
She did a pirouette on the wall.
Pirouette. They used that shot in all the trailers of her throwing the blade in 3D, which was weird because it wasn't even the most 3D shot in this.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Why didn't you just open with that?
She's got powers. I forgot. Oh yeah. This was a plot issue, wasn't it?
To take away her powers. This is the problem, that Anderson overpowered her so quickly that they have to eventually take it away from her.
Yeah. That was the next one. Was that? I'll give Mila kudos. So she clearly loved doing all the movies and just running around kicking ass. It must have been quite fun.
I can't remember if it's correct, but I think she has one of the highest kill rates of any character, but also one of the highest death rates of any character
really?
through this franchise. Yeah.
Oh. That looks terrible in 3D.
It looks terrible
oh my
in 2D
God.
too, Nick.
I just had a bullet come to my eye. There we go.
Yeah.
It's so corny. Because he's the baddie, you see.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure you know he's the baddie because he just shoots some dude.
Like literally watching a film a 4-year-old would write. It really is. Because I'm just thinking I would have found this all fantastic, but literally, 40 years ago. You'd almost have to try to make something, this corny and just artificial and just.
Well, this is classic Anderson, isn't it? Guns, kind of this type of music.
I want it to be so bad it's good, but it's just so bad it's just really bad.
I think they've lost a lot of the kind of charm, the inherent charm that some of the first one kind of had.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for the first one.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people do. A lot of people do, and.
Oh, this was on all the trailers, wasn't it? I remember.
Yeah, and on the Blu-ray cover. I think this is the Blu-ray cover. I think.
Why do they look down at it as if they've never seen it before? Like, what is that? I mean.
I'm trying to remember. All these clones, these were made in the US facility, weren't they?
Yeah,
by Dr. Isaacs.
Isaacs and under the.
See, at least Extinction had the dead aim TyranT in it, ish.
With the funny hands.
Yeah. Sean, you didn't mind Extinction, if I remember correctly.
I didn't like it that much, Nick. If you go back and listen to it, I think I appreciated aspects of Russell Mulcahy's direction, but that was about it.
Right. Yes, because this is Anderson back in the chair, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, this is because at least from the standpoint of the third movie, if you didn't put it in the context of being a franchise, as a movie by itself was at least comprehensively understandable, but it just didn't connect whatsoever, pretty much, to the previous films.
And the shot with the fiery sky and the crows is good.
Yeah,
I always like that bit.
There's been so much killing and zero dialogue.
That's true.
Although I do have the sound off, but I presume that's. It
looks like mostly just Wesker just barking orders at people.
It looks like there hasn't been any dialogue.
You can probably put the sound on as long as
I've got it on. Well, let me know if you can hear it, guys. I've got it on bracelet.
No, we can't. But
When you look at those like 3D maps and that, they could absolutely be a remake location with how they're designed now, aren't they? Couldn't they?
This is these are the issues I have. Oh, look, he's going to escape on his little helicopter or whatnot, and it's like the world is destroyed. There is nothing left. They decided on this extinction angle.
Yeah.
And it was such a bad move.
Right, that's what it's saying. There's some ridiculous continuity issues. I mean, essentially, I'm assuming he was heading to the facility that we see in the 5th movie. Because we didn't.
I do like how Wesker there. He looks a little bit like Wesker at the end of his battle with Chris in Code Veronica. I do like that. Kind of, obviously, completely unintended.
What's the budget for this one? Did they get up to about?
I think this one might have had the highest budget or one of the highest budgets. I'll look it up.
Oh, the old self-destruct.
Countdown started.
Smirk. Well, that wasn't. It came up 3 minutes, and then 2 seconds later, the whole thing blew up.
No, 3 seconds, I think. It was a sensible countdown. Not give the heroes
but for once, an actual sensible countdown.
What's the point of a 3-second countdown? You've got 3 seconds to get out.
He might as well just hit, blow it up as he flew out. Like he almost didn't make it as well, which is the budget for this movie was $60 million. I mean, it's worth saying that each movie made more than the previous one until the last. So
yeah.
Oh,
here we go. This is the Deus Ex.
I want an advert that's just one of 6.
Oh, you're watching it on.
It's Rakuten TV. I've now got to sit through 6 adverts, which actually will be much better than the film, I'm sure. Whatever they're for, I can give you a commentary on the adverts I'm watching as well.
Well,
I'll catch up. I've got no problem fast forwarding in 10 minutes, however long it takes to get through these.
Well, Alice has just had the Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
The literal T cells.
And then it's so ridiculous. They're attacking her system. Oh no. To be fair, I just found out the budget for the next one was only slightly more, 65. So they've kind of settled into this amount.
At least he's wearing his RE4 suit.
Canary Islands 2. I've got no idea what that is.
And then he goes to the RE5 one at the later part of the movie.
Oh, I got a trailer for Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. Now that is much better.
I assume this is the real. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the others died in the explosion.
3D shot in effect.
Oh.
It's been paused in midair. Look at this. I can do 3D.
Oh God. Hey, Mummy, I can fly.
I'd like to say this is good.
This is me. How did I get here?
You're probably wondering.
How exactly? You're probably wondering, how did I get here? Jesus.
So there you go. That was an interesting opening. So no longer superhuman, she somehow survived that.
Anderson realized he'd painted himself into a corner, which is a constant theme of his movies, really. Putting himself in corners and then not knowing how to get out of them, and then coming out of them with the most ridiculous option. Oh, I'm going to have a bit where I had all these clones, and she's superpowered. What am I going to do?
When did they
I'll have her invade them.
Sorry.
It's all right.
No, sorry.
So why isn't the world a desert anymore, guys?
Because they went to Alaska, remember? Because there was
No.
that one random guy's note in a journal in a
Oh.
petrol station that said Alaska,
That's
and
good.
she went, "That's
okay,
a great
right.
idea."
Fair enough. I can't remember.
No, it's not fair enough. It makes absolutely zero sense also. Because, that one random guy's journal just inspired her to go to Alaska for no reason, even though there was no guarantees. And by the map that we get shown at the start, there's no ice left either. It's sand and desert everywhere. So Alaska shouldn't exist.
How near are you guys to where she's standing on a red plane in a field of planes?
Well, not there yet.
Oh, because I fast forwarded a bit too much.
You pause
sorry.
there. We'll
I was
yeah,
shocked to see that they'd remade Fall Guy. I didn't know that. Most of those adverts, though, were trailers for films, so it wasn't so bad.
so she's just playing. Yeah.
Where
She's
is-
flying
where are you?
in.
Oh, she's
So
flying.
I'm guessing we're led to believe then that Ali Larter's Claire has been here for 4.5 years now. Because this is a 4-year. Originally, it was a 4-year jump. No, we've just had a 6-month
Because
jump.
the 4-year jump was from the original outbreak in Japan post Raccoon City. So
I see, right.
probably only several months, maybe a year tops.
See. So this is interesting. The shot of the plane landed, right? You see, this is where 3D is really quite good. It's very subtle, but it just adds that little field of depth with the plane sticking out further into the screen.
Again, it helps if you plan out your shots with that depth in mind. So you've got something in the foreground, midground, background. Like that's where it works at its best. And as I said, Anderson can do that. And the same with the shot of all the planes. The depth between her and
Looks really
all
good.
the planes must look really nice. But like, he just couldn't resist throwing weird 3D stuff at the screen.
Is Mila nice in 3D, Nicholas?
She is. She's very nice.
she is astoundingly attractive, isn't she?
I mean, I could probably spend a whole podcast talking about why 3D failed and why it shouldn't have failed. And you could argue something like this is an example of this should be a film that's celebrated to an extent in terms of 3D technology, but the quality of the film wasn't really matched.
That's inherently it. And then obviously the demise of 3D through so many really bad post conversion.
Yeah.
As opposed to shoot.
I just imagine him
3D.
sat on the edge of his seat with his little red and blue glasses.
They're not. No. I've got an active 3D TV. If everyone remembers the difference between that and passive.
So that's the helicopter that they escaped on in the end of the third.
Oh, okay. And there's the note. There's the journal. There you go. Just a reminder. What are you up to, GT? You're still on pause?
He's walking towards that plane with the umbrella logo. I think he's about to find that journal you're talking about.
Okay, fine.
This was the thing that she found in the petrol station, which all of a sudden she was just like, "Oh, that's a great idea," and that was her entire motivation.
Yeah,
which made no sense, even though she had no idea if it was real or not. Like there was just some hopes and dreams of some guy in a petrol station surviving a zombie apocalypse who wanted to go to Alaska.
Let's not diss Kmart. What a character.
I do appreciate his use of foreground elements. I can imagine that does help the 3D quite a bit.
It really does.
Yeah,
it does. So many shots, so many boring shots are really like. There's the trees here. It's just good.
Doing long shots of like with depth and.
Which, as you said, Rob, earlier, at least it shows he's got an eye for it and not just shoving 3D cameras into space. And
no. Oh, that's right. Her conceit here is that she films herself. I forgot about that.
Sure, that's
it's about now I realise I should have put subtitles on.
Yeah.
She's just said Lilu Dallas multipass, if you're wondering.
She'll never live that one down.
So I'm not sure the dialogue is that important.
Probably not.
That's quite damning for a film when you come out with that. Overall, it's really not worth listening to anything anyone says in it.
Kmart's in this again, isn't it? Ali Lock. Is it Ali Lock? Not Ali Lock. Blonde girl from the first.
Oh, weird. I put subtitles on it, and they're weird coloured grey on the Blu-ray.
What's the subtitle button on the PlayStation 4?
I can't
Triangle,
remember.
is it?
Sorry,
You press triangle to
on-
bring up the sub-menu.
Is it triangle? Oh yeah.
There's a sub-menu, but then on the Blu-ray, when I'm playing on the PS5, the sub-menu, it doesn't have the subtitle option. I had to bring up the square-based sub-menu,
You
which
got
was the
attacked by
actual
crows there, Nick.
Blu-ray one.
So,
This is great
I
thrilling commentary stuff.
I can just about hear it. We've got some crows. We'll just have
Oh
some
no,
crows.
the crows exactly in 3D. Nick almost fell out of his seat.
Is it going to be a slow motion knife to camera? Oh,
I'm sure the guns was held in point early, just a minute ago.
This is ridiculous that she doesn't recognize her within 3 seconds. Completely implausible.
oh, she's got the device on.
Plot twist.
Oh.
Oh,
Forward to them explaining the progenitor virus.
the superior breed of humans.
That's very good.
Ali Larter's a great actress, but she doesn't feel like Claire to me.
No,
No.
she's
Although
not.
ironically, they tried in Resident Evil, didn't they? In Heavenly Island, they kind of matched her outfit from.
I think she would have been a good.
Yeah, I was
Jill.
going to say that, Nick,
Handled her
later
hard
on.
well.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. She would have made a much better Jill, definitely, I think.
Mm.
And I remember everything.
Oh, there you go, 18 months. Nick.
Hey, oh, there we go.
Figured it was about a year and a half.
I'm envious whoever got to keep that prop. I'd love that in my collection.
The P30.
Yeah.
Oh, she's being watched, people. And then we just fade to black, and all of a sudden we're on a plane.
Planets.
The other thing I've just realized about this movie is just because he's like, oh, I've got the 3D and stuff. There's lots of really long shots
Yes.
for just establishing, for just because it's like, oh, it's nice and scenic, or it's nice of this.
It is working. I would add. You go,
It must work for 3D, but for 2D, it just seems really weird that there's these really long shots of that seem to be doing a heck of a lot of lifting.
Another point is that this is quite a bright movie, but then again, I suspect that's been factored into 3D because 3D is darker because you've got to put the glasses on, so they've made it quite bright.
Yeah. The only film I went to see like that was Prometheus. And I had to keep taking the glasses off. It was so dark.
So yeah.
It was awful. So I just went and had to go back and see it in 2D. I've never seen a 3D film since. Yeah, you're right.
They usually should adjust for that.
Overcompensate.
They
so
usually do, but to be fair, Prometheus was quite a dark movie anyway, so even bumping that up. But also, it could also be, like, I know this sounds bad, but like poor projection. If someone hasn't tested the setup,
Yeah.
they might not have adjusted. You can adjust the luma levels. Try to put luma and LUT together there.
Having a cast full of amnesia riddled characters is great when you have no idea how to comfortably do exposition. So you can just literally do a big exposition dump to get the audience back up to speed.
It is helpful. And look how immaculate Ali Larson now looks.
Yeah. They're looking out there having post-apocalyptic.
Alaska. Yeah, she just dunked her in Alaskan ice water. That's how she did it, and then brushed her hair. Yeah, it was a bit weird. She went from feral madness to looking like that.
What's keeping the fires just randomly still going on the Hollywood sign?
Who knows?
What's keeping all these fires going? That's not how wildfires work. That whole thing is sort of concealed into one giant fire by now.
Putting subtitles on. The options button. Ooh, 3D subtitles.
Someone must have burnt the city, but it only looked partially burnt. But that's all right.
4 years of
The fact there's even buildings still standing that are on fire makes no sense in some respects. But cool, it's a cool visual.
It is nice visual.
It's oh god, what's his name? Coates something, isn't it? Or his surname's Coates. He's in loads of stuff.
Kim Coates.
Kim Coates, yeah. He's in the Silent Hill movie.
Is he?
He's
the detective or something. Is he a private investigator who helps Sean Bean?
He's in Goon, which is a good hockey movie.
Oh,
he plays the coach.
He's friends. I got a relatively amusing story. He's friends with Raj Ramaiah, the Dead Aim actor, Bruce McGibbon, and he did the Saver music.
Right.
He composed the Saver music for Dead Aim. And when we interviewed Raj, he promised to get Kim Coates. He's friends with him, so he promised to get Kim Coates to record a mobile on his mobile phone to record a message just apologising to all the Resident Evil fans for this movie.
No. That was an ace tidbit there, GT. Well done.
Isn't he playing Ricardo Irving in this?
Oh, sorry.
Is he?
You mean in this?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I feel like I would remember. I think I'd remember that.
I could be wrong. I like it, a bit of a homage to Dawn of the Dead there, with the zombies kind of surrounding a big, tall building where they're older.
His character's called Bennett.
Let out some steam, Bennett.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. I was like, no, it's too obvious. Let out some steam, Bennett.
Oh, help us. There's not much space between the help and the us. I thought it was like help us. It's like what is it? Yeah.
Oh, we're a bit further ahead than you, George, at the moment.
I had another bloody advert.
Oh, did you? There we go.
Yeah,
Don't watch it on Rakuten, folks. I think that's the.
If you don't mind watching it with ads, but mind you, if I'd been watching it on one of those free streams, I know they all come with ads. So.
Slightly fast forwarded.
This is the ridiculous plane landing. Just remember, there is that 3D shot of the plane like dangling off the side of the roof.
The flagpoles looked pretty good a minute ago, I will add. I remember this. Doesn't she run off this building later or something ridiculous? Or am I?
Nick, spoilers.
Am I spoiling? Sorry, folks. Sorry. I remember the building. I don't remember the.
No, that is the sequence because she ruins the plane from this, and they can't use it to escape after this. And mind you, it only has 2 seats anyway, so yeah, it's a great idea, dude. Just standing there would be.
She doesn't trust her enough, so she ties up her hands and then just within a moment, not only
Oh,
frees her, gives her a
she'd
knife.
asked her. She'd asked her
Yeah.
several times, and then she's
Okay.
like, she told her to hold on, and then she's like, well, you can't hold on if your hands are tied.
Gives her a knife though.
Yeah, but it's because I think she's trusted her
Well, yeah.
enough by this point, from the things she said.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there we go.
Has he got the
That's
T
been,
virus?
Yeah. It's just why did it have to be slow motion? Oh my god.
I don't mean to be funny, but even if that had been a successful landing, you wouldn't.
This remake 3, Jill, what's she doing here?
It's not a big enough runway, is it? Take off again.
No, that was the point. That was the whole thing. They did the what you would do on an aircraft carrier, the tow hook, which was to grab the plane's undercarriage with that wire they strung up. It's exactly what you're doing. I will give them that much credit. That actually makes sense.
So yeah, as Nick alluded to earlier, what Heavenly Island actually did, whether you like it or not, but they actually dress Canon Claire Redfield in this outfit in Heavenly Island.
Yeah.
In Claire's outfit, obviously, that you've just seen her get out the plane in.
Oh, the Arcadia ship.
You can't say that, Alice. You don't know that you're the only people out there.
I sense a lot of red shirts.
Yeah.
I thought that
Anderson
was
is
Tony
very
Danza.
subtle with that stuff.
Mm.
That's clearly not Tony Danza.
Does it all look a little bit blue?
Yeah,
It's a set location, so the background's all CG, and so I think it's just the lighting.
Right.
It's supposed to be an exterior, but it's obviously shot in an interior, so
because it's
tried to make
exquisite.
the lighting.
Well, this is what I was saying. It's exquisite 3D. At the moment, it is. What was it Luther? He's nicely in. The background's focused, but it looks too fake. It looks like a CGI.
Well, that is one of the drawbacks of some 3D. When you put people in a 3D, and especially in a set environment or in front of a blue screen, it makes them look even more.
They're popping to such an extent that it's like you're not.
It takes some unrealism. Yeah.
What you're going to learn over the duration of this commentary, ladies and gentlemen who are listening, is that we've been revealed a terrible truth that Nick absolutely loves this movie.
No.
Nothing but unanimous praise for it so far.
Well, I'm trying to counteract your negativity, guys.
I'm just laughing at the odd bit. It's just a bit silly.
I'm just trying.
I will own that negativity. I hate this movie. I'm still watching it, and I'm just like, oh god.
What time is it in New Zealand, by the way, Rob?
It is now just after 8 in the morning. So
there you go.
Nothing like waking up to watch.
Watching Resident Evil Afterlife.
Nothing like
He's got his whole day ahead of him after this.
Can I just point out this is the first time we've actually got the plot of the movie so far.
It's only taken 40 minutes.
We've actually got some dialogue with some speech. We must rescue people and get to that ship because that ship is the broadcast. Yeah, this is the first time we've had the plot.
To be fair, I will counter that and say, to his credit, the original plot was Alice going back to Alaska to find the survivors from the third movie, and only finds Claire. So that was an unpoint from the last one. So that's still technically part of the plot. And then her movement to decide from there to try and find what's happened to the others, that is still the plot too. But she's now been sidelined from that with this, which inadvertently ends up becoming one and the same, which is also really bad writing.
Yeah,
that's all right.
I forgot Claire suffers from amnesia in this. fade to.
Hmm.
So we still haven't met. Chris is in this, isn't he? We haven't met.
Yeah, you'll find out why.
Yeah, I recall he's incarcerated or something, isn't he?
Yes, because he did something that they didn't like. Plot reasons.
See, this is a kind of example of like the stuff that he used to do in the original Mortal Kombat, where you've got like a live action element, and it seamlessly transitions through a CGI thing into another one. And to his credit, they're not bad.
Mm.
You know, in Mortal Kombat, you know, a movie in '95, they were quite sort of revolutionary transitions, actually.
Very true.
Yes, no, I'll take that point. Yeah. The zombies look as better than they've ever looked. From what we've seen so far. Although
Yeah, it's
not
quite a.
not a lot
I
of zombies.
will give them credit for that. There's a lot of makeup and prosthetic work, and because also they did these big creatures and bits and pieces.
Yeah, I mean, you said just before we started, Rob, that, you know, to the movie's credit, like on a production point of view, it's actually decent, and I must say, like, it is pretty good. You know, there's some clear, you know, sets. The CGI isn't terrible yet.
No, I think it's been.
Who is that? She looks familiar, but I can't. I don't recall who that is.
Sorry, the one that plays Crystal. Casey Clark.
It doesn't ring a bell.
Don't know what else she's been in. Not a lot.
What is she serving? Very conveniently washed up plastic knives and forks. There we go.
Because there's all the stuff from the prison. It makes sense, which includes all the stock food supply.
Yeah, not a bad place to hold up.
No.
And Resident Evil loves its prison.
And its ships. Which
And
this
its
movie
ships.
has both.
See, in some ways, it's very different. Like a movie like this, it doesn't focus on like the human element at all of a zombie apocalypse, which obviously things like 28 Days Later does.
Which is one of the most interesting elements of the.
Well, this is the thing, but you know, Walking Dead obviously does it very well as well. But some people just want a mindless zombie movie.
Oh.
What, you mean like Welcome to Raccoon City?
Yeah, you know.
That's the inherent difference between, say, like a Romero type movie, where it's more about the human factor within the zombie apocalypse, as opposed to and that's where the Walking Dead, it's where the Walking Dead gets its riff from too. You know, it's more about the people surviving than it is about the actual events.
So you can see why they've been relatively popular. Well, they have been successful. There's no denying that.
No, they've made a lot of money. They've not been critically popular, but financially they've done reasonably well. I'd say I'd hesitate to say that they would continue to do well in the current climate. I think if you release something like this now, even good movies are struggling to have box office success. So something like this would probably struggle in this environment. But for its time,
it takes a lot to get people to go to the cinema now, doesn't it?
Which again didn't help Raccoon City's chances.
Oh, there it is. It's our Chris.
Brooding. That wasn't meant to be funny when he stuck his hand out like that.
I think it was actually supposed to be funny.
Funny thing, doesn't it? Because he kind of looks a bit like Veronica, Chris.
I think that's where he was going with it.
Yeah,
He does look.
but Robbie
I've been
Hamill
getting quite a few.
does such a good job.
I have been
much
getting
better
quite
job.
a few Code Veronica vibes in this.
Prison, yeah.
And even before that, the shot with the buildings. I mean, they're on fire with the helicopter and the Wesker taking off in the plane.
He's Wentworth Miller has made a pretty decent career as a writer now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's written a Chan-wook Park movie.
That's Stoker.
Stoker,
yeah,
yeah.
great. Yeah, great movie. Still acts occasionally. He dropped out of acting because of personal image issues and people making claims about him and stuff like that, and it didn't help. He came back and did that last event series of Prison Break, and him and he was in some of the DC TV universe stuff with Dominic Purcell as well.
I've known him from Buffy because he had a super early role in that.
Did he?
Mm.
I think he's supposed to return to acting. Also, another thing with Purcell, funnily enough, the two of them are almost inseparable in people's minds, it seems like. I think he does well in this movie, considering what he's given. And that's the same with all these actors. There's nothing wrong with any of them. They're perfectly fine. It's just what they're given to work with.
I could do with some of this. I got an advert for Smirnoff.
He's almost taking Hannibal Lecter role in a cave.
So basically, we've locked him up because we think he's a killer, but there's no justification.
No.
She's going to clearly go visit a merchant.
I feel like that was Anderson trying to be cute with the idea that you were taking coins and stuff in like Resident Evil 4 and so forth.
Right.
But
Could be.
I don't know. It just seems like a weird.
You sure? Probably claim it was his idea that Capcom took.
So Alice had this hobby of collecting coins. So and Capcom thought it'd be great to start the characters collecting currency.
No bigger fan, Rob. No bigger fan.
That was a line. Nothing that makes any sense. That's definitely this movie.
So I'm guessing shit's about to hit the fan now. Crawling zombie that.
The zombies crawling underneath the complex.
Yeah, we haven't actually had a lot of zombie action so far in this movie, so we are over. But I think don't we have a lot of this is fast zombies, isn't it? Is it?
I don't recall being a huge amount of fast zombies. I think it's just this thing's just got so many. There's our setup for the executioner fight in the shower block. I think it's more to do with the numbers.
Okay. Here he comes. There he is.
Mm.
Oh, see that look. That looks.
So there we go. I was just going to say, transitional point again just fades to black and then just cuts to another location, and it's just like this. It's a very odd choice to do that every time that he wants to go to a different location. He just fades.
But then, as you point out, he does it in all his movies, but he's been able to get away with it with maps.
Or with maps, this is the thing. He uses them as transitional points, and once he loses the maps, because obviously he can't do a map here. There's no tech. It's not like the opening scene where you got the umbrella facility. He kind of doesn't know how to get between scenes. Well, he feels like he needs to fade to things quite often, and it's kind of weird rather than just cutting or like. You had those people looking out on the roof, and then all of a sudden you could have just had a wide shot of them walking along the street, and
suggests sexual innuendo.
Hope you like cold water. Half the audience is probably like, "Oh, is Miller gonna take a top off again?"
Yeah.
They would have been like, "Oh, we get to see it in 3D."
We don't get any explanation about that execution.
He's just roaming the streets. He's just an
just there.
umbrella bioweapon, seemingly, because he just no justification. He's just this random guy with an axe wandering the streets.
So this whole scene, this is the money scene, isn't it? This is where all the budget went.
Listen, seemingly the last sequence of the movie. I'd say.
Yeah. So this Alice walking with the gun. The gun looks very nice in 3D.
Love how they get have some really good makeup in the post-apocalyptic.
Oh, they are right. They're Magini. So that was a new thing. Yes, I remember this now.
Oh, you're right. They're running. They've mutated.
So they don't say it's Plagas, do they? At no point is
No, because it's just a mutation.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that came up in this one. I thought it didn't happen to the next one as well.
Poor old Wendell.
Yeah, it's funny. You were saying that comment before about Crystal's outfit looking like Jill's. It really is the remake. But Fresh, fun enough, is kind of loosely based off the bonus costumes in the original game anyway. So I figured that's where that comes from.
Where's Claire?
That's a good question. Why is Claire not there? Oh wait, she is.
Are we having any?
She was up on the roof earlier.
Yeah, but not.
You would have thought she would be here with everyone else making this decision about letting the guy out that they don't want to let out.
Oh, here we go. Oh, she is here. Oh. Yeah. Do they have? Don't look like. I'm afraid I'm a Robbie Amell fan, and I think it was a really well cast. Chris, at least visually. And I didn't mind Kaya as Claire. She's a little bit stoic, but she wasn't bad. Anyway, that's for another audio commentary. See, this is a little bit reminiscent of like Dawn of the Dead, isn't it? A little bit.
This is more reminiscent of the remake of.
Yes, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I think yeah.
The idea of like driving their way out.
Oh,
I would have thought they would have wanted to fill in the hole where the zombies were coming from.
It just contextually makes absolutely zero sense.
It really doesn't. It's an armory under the water.
Right at the bottom. Yeah.
I just. This appears to be a series of ideas for set pieces, and they've just put it together and see if it can be connected.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a quote for all of these movies. I'm pretty sure Anderson has said that. He comes up with some ideas and then figures out how to get from point to point. And I know that sounds like a disparate. That's not a bad thing sometimes for some movies. Like
No.
if you've got this idea of where you want to, you've got an end and you want to work backwards or whatever. And if you've got a couple of like, you can't just have no reason for them. You've got to kind of think of the logic that makes those bits work. And it's like, oh, there's that giant axe wielding guy in Resident Evil 5. I really want to put him in there. And then it's like, I'll figure out how to justify that later, and then just never did.
No, exactly.
He's just there. He's just.
So this bit, I want an underwater bit because that would be quite scary.
Yeah, which is fine. Again, nothing wrong with that. How does this look in 3D, Nick?
Quite flat, actually. Nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it's quite dark, so it's the light will probably be the most interesting thing.
I mean, she would have run out of water by now. Air.
Run out of water. There's another thing that Alice is good at, just holding her breath for very long.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's Crystal, isn't it?
I think they just wanted. I think they just wanted the attractive girl in the water.
She said she was good at swim, but I don't know if that means holding your breath. But
just to be clear, sorry, you're at the scene when she's come out of the water before the executioner fight.
We're still underwater at the moment.
Okay, no, just I'm getting inundated with adverts. I think my TV's trying to tell me something. It's just constant adverts for alcohol, Smirnoff and Guinness.
This is what you need to get to power through, George.
I think
they would have run out of air.
First, they were reminding you of things you could watch other than this movie. Now they're letting you what you need to get through the rest of this. Yeah,
they've just out of the water now. Okay, all right. Okay, so they're suggesting that part was randomly underwater because of the right.
They're being chased by Magini. Well,
not yet. We're not.
No, I haven't got to that point.
Okay.
Lit a flare.
Yeah, I'll go back a little bit. Oh, to the flare light. Right, got it.
Yep.
No, not Sergon then.
No, she was quite attractive.
Oh, I liked her.
How did they?
Oh, it was the fodder element, as you said, Nick.
Yeah,
someone.
You
knew as soon as she volunteered to go, she was going to die.
Yeah. They're running zombies. I'm not a big fan of running zombies. And
yeah, no, you're 100% right. I'd completely forgotten. I thought it was just numbers, but no, it's running zombie Magini. It's great. There's lots of guns, and yet you've got to somehow get back through all the water, and not even include that would have been already the problem before you even had all the enemies outside.
Yeah. Oh, tank! I suppose another Code Veronica reference. suppose. Probably accidental. We can't give Paul Anderson too much credit.
No, let's not give him any credit at all.
If he had said, perhaps we should do an audio commentary of the audio commentary, and go, if he had said,
I think the Blu-ray, interestingly, has that one of those picture-in-picture video things. I saw it on the list of descriptions on the back when I was looking at it earlier.
Oh, has it?
So it must be like partly a behind the scenes interviews and yeah. The commentary. I remember the commentary for the first movie was like a lot of Mila and
playing Grand Theft Auto. Wasn't it?
Yeah, getting in trouble for talking about playing Grand Theft Auto and basically talking shit about most of the actors, and joking about Eric Mabius's motivations for scenes and stuff.
Or Bennett.
I like that comical little zombie hand reaching around and knocking the thing off.
I think some of the biggest mistakes with these movies is that zombies are scary themselves, but they gradually. I mean, this is arguably true in the games as well. They become less and less of a threat.
I mean, I have to say, inherently, and this is not. I mean, you could claim that Anderson's part of the problem of it, but also not, because I can get he's responding to the trends. You know, think about when this movie came out. The zombie thing started to evolve more because people were getting sick of like just generic zombies.
Yes,
So,
yeah. I'll kick this chain somehow. Oh no, wasn't this one of the money shots? No, not. Oh, fair play, it worked. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, zombie works a lot better in this, in terms of, if you go back and watch the first RE, a lot of them just look a little bit unwell. Whereas here,
that was a design. To be fair, that was a design choice. They had
Yes.
the design. The makeup. You look at the makeup tests and everything, and they did a.
Because there wasn't a lot. Yeah, it was a quick infection, wasn't it? There's not a lot of biting. These are long dead zombies that somehow run.
Why aren't they shooting the red barrels, guys?
The red barrels are right there.
Just before that, though, that slow motion of the throwing submachine, it's just so much unnecessary slow motion. It's just ridiculous.
Well, you got to remember, George, a lot of it is catered for the 3D cinematic experience.
But there was no jeopardy there. We all knew she was going to catch it. It was just ridiculous.
I'm pleased that worked as she intended.
Kill them. Oh no! I'll hit the water. Oh, very good.
Oh no, this is an apocalypse throwback, is it?
Yeah. This is the. Look at them all. I'll tell you how this looks. I remember this being quite impressive cinema in terms of. Well, she's coming right at me. Yeah. What a woman. Now that looked quite good.
She's got infinite revolvers. She's got like the infinite ammo cheat, hasn't she?
Yeah. See, this is quite this slow motion shot. Yeah, this looks quite.
No, maybe not. Maybe she did only fire 6 out of each. I'll be impressed if that's accurate.
I'm loath to say that 3D improves it.
Coins.
Like the coins.
5 coins. Fuck, what? How is that even possible?
See, that looked really cool. That coin was right in your face.
For fuck's sake, honestly. I feel nauseous.
Yeah, I will say, if you don't like 3D and it gives you a headache, this is not a good movie to watch. But it's not too. It's not too over the top. I think I can see why in 3D circles people, if you want to, your demo movie, if someone comes around and you got your TV, show me what 3D's like. This isn't a bad one. In fact, it's a very good one.
Love how they think that shuttered door was going to stop the zombies too. Like, it's full of bullet holes and.
Here's the exit. Oh, here he is. She's dead. There's no way she can survive.
Oh, that must have been a good one, Nick. Did you duck?
I've not got. I don't think I've got quite there yet.
Huh.
I'm at the same scene. He's running slowly. I think you're a little bit ahead.
No, it was the one where he was swinging as he was chasing her. And one swing comes right at the camera.
Yeah, it's good. There's a lot of slow mo, isn't there?
A superhero landing.
Yeah.
And hair flick.
It looks terrible. this whole
Just
scene.
so ridiculous. Like,
I think it is. It's terrible. Yeah.
just so lacking weighted.
To reduce this to its lowest common denominator, I'm just looking at Ali Lata.
It's very good in 3D. The rain, the rain,
the water, the water effect.
The
I can
depth of the rain.
It's Anderson going, "What will make this look really cool in slow mo in 3D?"
It really does.
The whole thing.
I mean, give him that much credit. But it's just like everything's so forced in order to be like the slow motion, and everyone's her ducks and everything before were like super telegraphed.
Is it? Wow. One well placed blast.
Yeah.
Up the Johnny. Well, of course, they bring back 2 for the next movie, don't they?
Yes.
Even bigger. But the next movie is not done with the same cameras for some reason.
Oh, it's getting. Oh.
No.
Oh.
It fooled you, Sean. It fooled you.
Of course, the trailer shot.
Yeah, here it comes. Yeah, that was nice. Oh, that's good. Sorry. I just did that.
Oh, I see. It drops money. all we need is a blue shaft of light coming out of it, and we're there. Yeah,
that whole sequence is top quality from a no, it's not. Don't clip that, folks. It was it was top quality from a visual 3D.
From a 3D, you're watching it in 3D.
Yeah. Another fade to black there. Now you've pointed it out, Rob.
I know it's super obvious, and I was just like, it's just really he doesn't quite know how to get between transitions. He'll just fade things out oddly.
It's like end
There's,
scene.
this part is actually probably the worst for it because you have that fade for them in the tunnels, and then they have to get out to the streets, and he doesn't have the budget or the ability to film the section with them out in the street. So they get outside of the building, and then all of a sudden I think it flashes to white, and all of a sudden they're at the boat. I think it's still due to come, and I remember that being particularly egregious. I was like, oh, that was an interesting choice.
Just film them going into the hole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, why did we need that shot of the transition of the drain? We could have just had that shot of them going down the drain, or like just one of them standing over the other and go, you first, and then cut to the shot of them in the climbing through. Like, that's all you needed. What's with the point of the drain shot? Just to fade to black.
Do you think he's trying to be a bit like Lucas, who got away, obviously does his famous wipes?
Maybe, but it's just they're just so unmotivated. That's the thing. Like, yeah, okay. So you shot there's the blood of the executioner going down the drain, and there was all the water in the drain. Yeah, okay, that's an interesting shot, I guess. But like,
now that was a belter there, Rob. An out of focus shot going into focus.
yeah. And a bit in the tunnels, yeah, exactly. It goes to fade to black and then goes out of focus. It's like, what are you doing?
It would actually be less jarring if it was just a hard cut.
Exactly. It just a cut would be fine. It didn't need to have that fade to black and then a pull rack focus in. Just cut.
Oh, it's just the
poor
Luther.
Luther.
I don't know. Is he a he's the character from the first one, JD.
Well, where are we at
The kind of, you think he's dead, and he's not. He comes back a little bit later on.
No, JD.
We're an hour and 10 minutes into the movie, and this movie feels like we have spun wheels for over an hour.
Well,
like,
that's
so little has actually happened, doesn't it?
It's the funny thing when Nick was like, "There's the plot" earlier on. I'm like, justifiably so, but like, is it? Like, here we go. Yeah, goes back out of focus again and goes to white. That's what it was.
To white
because we don't know how to transition. There's no sequence of them, so all of a sudden they just arrive and they're going out to the boat. Yeah. So imagine that city they had to go through. We saw how many millions of fucking zombies there were, and somehow they managed to get straight out to the boat from there. Like,
this is a bizarre movie because it's so unambitious and small scaled, isn't it? Despite the fact that it's like this post-apocalyptic global adventure, and it just basically just boils down to like a single district and going a
little bit of Alaska. The opening sequence in Japan, and then most of it is the prison within this boat. Yeah, so you get that one shot of them on the boat, and then it cuts to another shot of them on the boat by the ship, and that's it.
Which I guess suppose does lead into the sort of Resident Evil thing of it being like, a singular location with a goal to achieve, or to get to. But it goes against the tone of like this grand global adventure that this franchise was going for at the time.
Yes. Oh look, boat. That's his ship. Plane. Oh no.
Well, at least he got the boat, didn't he?
He did. He made it. It's a good plan in the end.
You guys are getting. It's like a selection of action sequences. Just randomly strung together. It's in between the action sequences. You've got kind of like a little journey. So, like you said, they're going from a boat to a warehouse or whatever. But there's no meaningful dialogue. Set up any plot.
Fade to white. Why is there another fade to white?
I told you.
Just
like,
it could have just been
It could have just been a cut. Like, just could have been a cut. It's like, oh no, I've got this idea for this mist, and then.
Very Silent Hill, that was.
Does he repeat this in the later entries as well?
No, because usually, as I said, when he gets around, when he does map stuff, I think, and the editor he hired for the final chapter is a hyperactive ADHD sufferer who can't cut like without cutting 17 million times. But at least I can say he knows how to cut between scenes. So that kind of stops after the next one.
The funny thing about that one, though, was there was no difference, like locational distance between the two. They were literally on the boat, and then they went to, like you say, all they had to do was open a door.
Well, that's like before where we had 2 shots of them. They were on the boat going out to the ship, and then you get another shot of them just arriving the ship, but the angle's more or less the same. It's just you didn't
this is
need 2
painful.
shots. You might as well just gone for 1. And like,
I'm glad I'm glad John's not here. He would have given up by now.
yeah.
No, don't believe it. Of course.
Oh. This is literally what Deadpool talks about in the trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, isn't it? Where it's like, are you going to tell us what's haunting you? We're going to wait for a third act flashback. Because that's literally what this
This is a
is.
third act flashback.
Trap.
It's completely unrealistic that she escaped just then too, by the way, because like they put those things on or them, and then she managed to flip one over and run off without anyone shooting, even though they were all carrying guns.
Rob, it's foreshadowing for a certain character, isn't it?
Mm. I am aware of the post-credit scene on this.
Oh, do we have to wait to the end of the credits?
I don't know.
For our review.
I think it's mid-credit. It might be mid-credits, I think.
Here we go.
See, you can't. I'm gonna have to say it. You can't tell me that the remake's interpretations of Nest aren't in some part inspired by some of the visuals that I've seen in this movie.
Yeah,
Because
or
they
the
absolutely
others.
are.
Yeah.
This could well be Nest 2 from Remake 3 for me.
Except for the stark whiteness of it, but yeah.
I'm just thinking like the the room you fight Nemesis in is very similar to this. It's just a grand void space.
The final boss is Kmart. There she is. Named after the supermarket she found.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh.
Capsules rise.
Is Sheena Island terrible? TyranT.
No, it's Rockfort.
Yeah.
TO78.
How's the capsule shot in 3D, Nick?
A little bit flat, not as good as I was hoping.
CG,
so it's CG, that's why. Well, lots of it anyway. Some of it's practical for the close-up shots.
Is it going to be as sinewy and gross as it is in the game?
So what's the story? These are just random people they've captured that they're going to be experimented on at some point.
No idea, Nick. It's never really explained, and
Is
it
it
never
not?
comes back as another plot point. It's like they do this stress call to capture people, and then they put those things on them, and then all of a sudden, that's as far as I think as it goes, explanation-wise.
It raises wider questions on why you're experimenting on. As you pointed out earlier, there's not many people that left to buy any product.
Well, it's even made even more ridiculous when you hear the plans that were made during the fifth one.
I got an Event Horizon throwback there.
The blood.
Yeah.
You know, we've had no liquors.
I don't think they are in this, are they?
No.
That's just the executioner.
Just it.
Which was, was this 2010? So, Resident Evil 5 was very much still in the
That's
minds
why,
of
there's
people.
a lot of the 5 stuff, yeah.
Don't they even replicate the slow-mo sunglasses to camera shot, don't they?
Oh, yeah, it's all coming out.
Yeah.
It's shot for shot, Sean.
Yeah, for better or worse, which we'll talk about.
More or less, yeah, for better or worse.
This looks a little bit better, but it's the same sort of image. Yeah, because it's all a bit CGI. It looks a little bit weird. It's not bad.
It's always possible the front element was real, foreground element.
Yeah.
Anything else wasn't.
It's this shot of her walking towards that looks quite in depth. All the dead.
Oh, the stuff's in focus. That's why.
Yeah. That's
And when you put white on white, it's not adding really a lot of contrast. It's a bit of shadow, but
there he is, our man.
He certainly looks the part. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Dogs. Oh, he's infected now with the virus. He wasn't before. Wow.
Oh dear.
Ingest DNA.
To be honest, this storyline isn't that far removed from something as nonsense as RE6s, is it?
No.
no, unfortunately.
He wants to ingest Mila. Wow. Join the queue.
Nicholas. Fucking hell.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh. I take it Mrs. Neptune's not watching this with you.
No, she's in bed.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That's a
knives.
hell of a kick, that is.
That looked good.
I thought she was going to force pull that shotgun. then.
She's good. Oh. That's an Ajule. Isn't it? Is that what they do in RE5?
And the tentacle things come out of there.
Is that supposed to be an RE5? Kind of like a mixture of, yeah.
Oh. Oh, even the dialogue, look.
They? Here we go.
Oh, the eyes look good.
Oh, my sunglasses. The excuse she can't possibly help because she has two dogs guarding her.
That is terrible.
And it's like
that teleporting.
Oh my word!
You know what? I admire the attempt, but this just highlights that you cannot replicate like a virtual camera in a CGI, in a CG video game with an actual physical one that has to move. It cannot be as fast unless it's well rigged on like an animatronic arm or something, on a robotic arm or something.
I've tried to figure out what it is. I think it's just the whole thing of him moving fast doesn't quite work, and then when he moves slow, it's so telegraphed because they've choreographed this to get the camera movements right, and so it looks forced, doesn't look pre-planned.
Yep.
And then it just looks like a bunch of people miming,
Yeah.
You know what it looks like? When you have someone who can't dance on Strictly Come Dancing, and everything has to be so slow than it needs to be. This is what it.
Yeah. Whereas that sequence in RE5 is absolutely amazing from a directional point of view.
And the irony is too for a motion event, They still, yeah, she's been using them as bullets, which is actually not a bad idea. You can actually fire those for sure. I don't know if you can fire coins that big though, that many of them.
Oh, is this the
But you
kicking
could
of a...
the glass, yes. This must look fucking janky as shit in 3D
It's
because it
Yeah.
looks pretty bad in 2D.
well, the Chris,
Oh, the glass going past.
the Wesker Chris fight just looked very flat. It's too quick to have any 3D benefit there.
Oh,
You dumb Bennett. Oh yeah, forget about that.
wow. Is that how he's dispatched?
For now.
For now.
But there's no... Oh, God, the slow motion's so bad. Because you don't get... This just doesn't get your pulse going at all, does it? There's like nothing exciting here.
No.
It's so
Okay,
flat and lifeless, and she's just randomly turned up again.
This looks
Throws
rubbish.
the...
Did anyone throw a fucking gun not in slow motion?
No, that's not how it works. And that shot was just weird. Like the firing the gun, she just like holds it up as if it was a plate, and he was a separate element, and they didn't quite know how. There's no recoil in the shot when she fires it, so it just looks really weird. Immediately, the two containers that had Chris and Claire in them are ID'd.
Yeah, I was going to
Even
say
though they
yeah.
randomly got thrown into two random ones. Makes no sense.
I mean, is this supposed to suggest that the Redfields have history with West?
It seems to imply that because
No
he
shell
knows who
casings
they
going on the
are.
floor.
Yeah, he knows who they are, but then it doesn't. It also seems like he hadn't met them before. I don't know. It's fucking weird. And now we're zooming out of the boat into white.
Yeah.
Not.
But that's true in the second movie, isn't it? Does it imply that Jill was in the mansion incident that we never see? I think it's implied, isn't it? Face. So Wesker had been ingesting him. That's why he looked so bad.
Was that implying Wesker was getting up then, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Only a door can stop. Is it? Is it going to be okay?
Where are you all going to go?
Where are they going? Fuck no. Oh, that is Wesker. Oh, there. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, because that's the.
Yeah.
And then it's all completely undone by what happens in the opening of the next movie, anyway.
God, you wouldn't even know he's been shot. He's regenerated so well.
Except the occasional twitch.
Yeah. Oh, good. The old
Purge facility thing.
Just the same smirk.
But this time we'll give you a couple of minutes, not the 3 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. For no reason. I'm going to give you a lot more time. That's it. Somebody thought ahead of that one.
Ah. Oh, I forgot about that.
Completely undermined by what happens at the next start of the next movie.
Wow.
Oh, fuck me.
Well, he doesn't survive that, does he? I can't remember.
What
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, God. I've seen Retribution, but only once many years ago, and I can't really remember much of it.
Oh, it's
outside
Luther.
of Sienna.
What was that him with in the parachute? You see that little shot of a parachute coming down.
Yeah, there's a parachute.
Ah, okay, well, fair enough then.
Luther survived. I knew he would.
You just see it in the background there.
Mm.
It's a miracle.
That's
It's a
why
miracle.
he glows red and moves really fast, obviously, to the implication. The eyes glowing, he went and moved really quickly, grabbed the parachute and jumped before it blew up somehow.
I've got to see how long of this movie have we got left. Here?
No, you'll be pleased to know we're near the end.
Oh,
Please to know. So this is again where Anderson goes, right, I've got this idea that they're going to now start finding survivors on this boat, and that's how I'm going to start this movie, the next movie. And then by the time he actually got around to writing it, he just completely changed his mind, so it becomes another completely different continuity again.
Mm. Luther 5. Oh.
God, the confidence of ending it on a cliffhanger, look.
How have they got enough ship fuel?
Umbrella, special energy device, blah, blah, blah. Whatever Anderson decides to make up.
Yeah. We shouldn't be that nitpicky, really. Just gotta roll with it. You got to roll with it. You got to go fine. Wow. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Resident Evil Afterlife.
I'm phenomenally underwhelmed.
Well, yeah, go on. Let's hear your final thoughts.
Well,
yeah.
I just would have just appreciated something happening. Like so little of actual consequence occurs. They spoil Jill being in the credits.
Yeah.
What? Why would you do that? Because people now sit here
stupid.
Going,
what? Jill? What?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very best thing about Paul Anderson's Resident Evil universe, the Sienna is wonderful.
Yeah.
And I actually think she looks better as like battlesuit Jill than she does, RE2-3 era Jill. I think she suits that more. This movie's just so like. I will admit, I don't come away thinking I don't think I've seen like one of the worst things I've ever watched, but it's pretty dull, isn't it?
There's the tagline for the VHS box. No? Not the worst thing I ever watched.
That's the thing. The reason why I rate this so poorly is that it's like a very bland movie.
It's bland on a technical level. Yeah.
It's in a technical level. It's like visually interesting, but like he doesn't know how to get between scene transitions. The plot is basically non-existent. The actors are given nothing to do, and it's just all set up for another movie than it is for itself. Like, and then the one bit that's interesting is where he was going to go after the last one with all the clones, and he manages to wipe that all out in the first 10 minutes. So it's like, oh, okay, he just really wanted to tell a completely different story. And this is the inherent problem with every single one of these. It's like every single movie is disjointed mostly from the previous one in some elements. So the end of this one does lead directly into the start of the next one, but then he decided to, much like he did with the start of this one, that he wanted to do a different type of movie. So after the opening, he finds an excuse to change the tone of the movie again. So that's the problem with all of these. Like, there's no consistency to the franchise. Which probably also did help its box office, because if you hadn't seen the others, you could jump in. At worst, you got a "My name is Alice" flashback. And then you kind of just settled into whatever happened in that movie. It didn't really matter if you'd seen the ones preceding it.
I wonder if that's why they don't call them like Resident Evil 5. At least outside of, I think Japan they call them 5. But
yeah, they have the numbers. But yeah, if you asked people to put them in order, a lot of the time they probably wouldn't be able to tell you.
I mean, in so many ways,
the first one was first.
In so many ways, this is the worst kind of movie because it's got no statement. It's not trying to say anything. it's not going out to be like a trailblazer in terms of any kind of technology or anything like that, or a showcase. Although it has even acknowledged the 3D's decent, Nick.
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
But like, it doesn't even have that kind of. It's like it's not even fun. Like, I can't say I had fun watching this. It's it's like I watched the new Beverly Hills Cop the other week. Axel F. And that doesn't try and rewrite the rule book or anything. But what it does for 2 hours is it's fun and it's entertaining. Whereas I was just really quite bored in this.
Yeah.
I'm not like angry at it because I think it's outrightly terrible or anything. I'm just like, my brain is numb. It like hasn't challenged me in any kind of way. It hasn't had anything meaningful to say. But the action sequences are so flat and so lifeless that I don't even get anything from that either. Even like your most schlocky martial arts movies and stuff from the 60s and 70s, you still had some like kick-ass choreography and stuff you could enjoy, whereas like there's none of that in this. There's no...
the overuse of slow-mo, really. I mean, it's actually, if you took out the slow-mo, it's probably like a hour 10 tops, isn't it? I mean, as you said, the first 5 minutes is 4 seconds.
But even the fight sequences, if you took the slow mo out and put them in real time, then those fight sequences would be over in a blink of an eye, because that's half of it too. Like, the slow mo adds to the length of those scenes.
But it is unforgivable, Rob. Like you say, that you've got genuinely like star talent attached to these movies, and they're given nothing challenging to do. They're just literally stood there doing the occasional lines, which only exist to help any kind of bare bones plot along, and then that's it. Yeah, they do a pose or a hair flick in slow motion, grab a gun in slow motion, and just
fire a gun in slow motion, throw something at the screen, whatever it is
And it's just
and that's why I found that more frustrating. I actually preferred the next one more than this, because at least it had a plot, like it has something happening that ticks along, which is why, like, it's still not a great movie, but at least I was like, wow, that was an improvement over the last one, because stuff actually happened. There's the credit for the pace fusion going through. I don't know.
I mean, that's the first time I've seen that film. I mean, it's difficult to come up with a lot to say about a film that, like you said, has absolutely no plot at all and half an hour worth of slow motion. I mean, there's episodes of Trapdoor that's literally got more plot. Seriously. I mean, I do tell upon. I think that's a very good point. One of the most damning things you can say about it is it's just boring. It's just dull.
This is exactly what I said about Vendetta at the beginning. At least, or I don't know, was it before we recorded? Like, at least Vendetta makes me angry enough to be bothered about it.
Yeah,
and I feel the point I have to rant and get motivated to sort of explain why I think it is so trash. Whereas this are just like, yo, did you watch Resident Evil Apocalypse? Yeah, I did. Yeah. What do you think? Sorry, Afterlife. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Post credit.
No, just that how you treat a lady.
Oh wow, I got excited for a moment. I was like, what's this?
God. Out of 10 then? 4?
Well, that's generous.
That's generous, yeah.
No wonder you're angry at the
visuals.
The IMDb at 5.8, 5.9.
I honestly, why is this so popular? I've seen other people say this is a good movie. I'm like, no, it's not.
3.
This is a bland,
a 3.
movie.
I don't think it's not a good zombie movie, which I think at the heart of the Resident Evil movie should be a good zombie movie, or at least have some zombies in it. They're barely in it.
I mean,
I think I can see why Sean came in at 4, because it's almost hard to give it a 2 or a 3 in the sense that there isn't any plot to really criticise. I think
as well, I'm not always one to I'm one of these people who generally find genre meaningless. But if you were to have to apply this, like, what the fuck would you call this as a genre? Because it's not really an out-and-out action film. It's certainly not horror. It's not got any commentary enough to be like a Romero-inspired zombie movie.
Kind of sci-fi, really, for lack of a better term. And that's a loose.
It's not a heist movie. It's not a thriller. It's not even like a road movie inspired like what Extinction was. I don't know really what it is. Like, what is this movie? How do you even begin to quantify what it is exactly?
On the plus side, on the Blu-ray, there's a sneak peek of Resident Evil Damnation. So there we go.
A much better film, I'll add.
Absolutely.
Just so you know, that movie is only 1 hour 35, I think. So it felt like it's a lot longer. I have to admit.
It did, yeah. I will admit, yeah. To barely more than 90 minutes, you'd think it would zip along, wouldn't you?
I think you could probably get that down to an hour if you took out that slow-mo. I wouldn't be surprised. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I said it doesn't really do anything particularly exciting visually. I think it's probably one of the most impressive ones visually.
But even in terms of, like, you know, one thing I will say about Mila is that she's quite an athletic actress, and I know she does do a certain amount of stunt work herself.
Yeah.
But even from that point of view, she had like next to nothing to do in this. That would challenge her as like a physical performer.
Nothing to, yeah.
Mostly the opening scene.
Yeah.
It hasn't aged well. I don't think. I mean, I didn't like Retribution, so I'm mildly eager to see.
I see if you like it more than this. I mean, I can't say it's a great movie, but I think Retribution is a more interesting movie than this
Do
one.
you? Okay.
Yeah. I think there's more interesting things going on. The plot is just as nonsensical and to the point as I've kind of pre-predicting, because I'm trying to remember. I've only seen Retribution once. I got free tickets to it, and as well, and I mean, upon request, I went to Sony and asked them for tickets. This was about when I was still doing the website. It's kind of a weird thing because, as I was alluding to, there's this ridiculous kind of explanation of what Umbrella's goals were as a company, and like they're trying to reform Umbrella, and I'm like, so basically the plan was that you were going to sell bioweapons to one company or organization or country, and then do the same to another one and let them fight each other out. I'm like, you could tell immediately what the end goal of this was going to be. What happened was always going to happen, because the implication is that early on, obviously, we had the Raccoon City outbreak, and that it becomes a global outbreak as opposed to the local thing that is in the games. That's where Anderson took it, but instead, it points out more that the Raccoon City event was always just an inevitability of bioweapon supremacy. It's fucking weird. That makes absolutely no sense.
Doesn't it bring back Colin Salmon and Michelle Rodriguez?
Yeah, they have this whole cloning thing, and yeah, I'm not going to say more for who hasn't seen it. But
wrap this up, shouldn't we, as a commentary?
Yeah. Well, there we go, ladies and gents. I hope you've enjoyed our commentary, and hope you have enjoyed watching the movie again. And we apologise that you felt compelled to watch the movie again. Next, I suppose next up will be. I think we'll be going back to the CGI movies. So it should be Vendetta next, but we'll eventually get through to them. So thank you everyone for listening. It's goodbye for me, Neptune.
Goodbye from me, Stars TyranT.
Goodbye for me, George Trevor.
And goodbye from me, Rombie.